Today I want to show you something on the 1980 Pontiac Trans Am. Well, I gotta clean that. I did a video earlier cutting out a floor pan, and guess what? I found rust, and I want to show you one of the easiest ways I remove the rust. Now, I've seen a lot of people use that rust converter that is sold in cans, but we got some pretty heavy rust after I removed this floor pan. So we're gonna use something a little stronger, phosphoric acid, and I think this is gonna do the trick. So buckle up, kids, and come with me, and I'll show you how this is done. JD here. Now you can get this acid at any big box store, but I'm just gonna put it in one of these spray bottles. But before we begin this, I'm gonna clean this off with a wire wheel. Now you see this rust right here? This is what I was talking about. When I removed the floor pan, this was discovered. I believe this is just a mount, a subframe mount. This is a subframe mount. We're gonna see how well we can clean this off. From my experience, it seems to always work a lot better if you wire wheel it, get the heavy rust off. Now look at this. This is pretty rusted. I mean, this almost needs to be replaced. Actually, I think I'm gonna replace it after this video. I just want to show you what this acid can do. Now, please don't get any of this stuff on your clothes or even your hands. It will eat holes in the clothes and it may burn your hands if you have any cuts. But I'm telling you, if you don't have a sandblaster or you don't want to use the wire wheel, this actually works better. So we're just gonna saturate the rust and try to keep this stuff wet. You do not want it to dry on you. And if it does dry, it's no longer working. I follow somebody on YouTube, his name's posted. He's restoring a 1972 Buick Skylark, and he had a good idea to keep the acid wet, to throw some paper towels down and saturate them. But I'm gonna add to his good idea, and I'm gonna throw some plastic down and let this sit overnight, and we'll come back to this and see how it did. As we wait for that stuff to work, let's go poking around for some rust. Now there's a spot on this car that's been keeping me up at night. Now this is where the torque box sits. This is just the floor pan, but underneath this is the torque box where the springs come up. The perch box maybe is what it's called. These can rust out. Let's see what we have. Now I constantly try to tell JD to stop poking around because he's sadly gonna be disappointed. Does he listen? No. And look what he finds. Done. That's gonna be a big job. That is not cool. You know, that's the problem to go and poking around, but I just can't sleep at night. I had a feeling that was there just by looking at it. We have a hole. That floor pan's gonna have to be removed, and that perch box, torque box, is gonna have to be fixed or replaced. It's a big job, really big. But you know what? What else would I be doing with my time? Watching TV? All right, that's enough messing around. I'll show you what I have come up with or what the acid has done. Come on. Oh yeah, I didn't spend a week on this. I spent one night on this. We could have this perfect if I just spent a little more time, but this is what I've come up with. And I've also come up with a decision here. Yeah, that doesn't look bad at all. I'm cutting it out. I can't sleep at night. I know it's there. It's heavily pitted. It's gone. So if you look at this bracket underneath the floor pan, all the rust has been eaten away by the acid. That is gonna work. That is perfect. But the issue we have is on the subframe mount panel. Look at how well this acid worked. 24 hours it sat there. And this can just be cleaned with a wire brush. But the issue we now face is how badly damaged this panel is by rust. JD, you make the call. I'm gonna cut it out so you can get a better look at it. I had a feeling he was gonna cut this out and patch it. Is it the right thing to do? Who knows? But I do have to give him an A for all the effort. And I also have to constantly remind him this is just going to be a driver. Now that I have this removed, I can show you what the acid did. Now look at this. The acid has converted all the iron oxide to iron phosphate, which is totally fine. But the reason why I cut this out is because look how badly this is pitted. You can see holes through it. You can see daylight. Look at that. Let's take the wire wheel to it and see how much we can clean up. See how well that acid has eaten away at the rust. All right, the top is where I wire brushed it, and that came out real clean. Very minimal effort. And like I said earlier, that black stuff, that's actually iron phosphate. They actually say you can paint over that, but I choose not to. I like to remove and have shiny metal. So that's it for this one, and I'll see you on the next one.